Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ali and it's Eurovisionathon. Thanks for the dramatic noises in the background there, Alfie. It is technically not Eurovisionathon today. It's Friday, the Readathon starts tomorrow. But I'm working tomorrow, so I know I won't have time to film and probably won't until Tuesday next week. So I thought that I would jump in, tell you what I'm planning on starting with, and then on Tuesday, I'll be back. Maybe it's a little ambitious, maybe it's completely unrealistic, but I'm kind of hoping maybe I will have finished something by Tuesday. See, Percy was shocked. He was like, what do you mean finish something by Tuesday, you woman? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, we're going to firstly talk very briefly about plans, and then I'll go into the books. So, I don't have a plan for, I haven't set out which books I'm reading in what order. I'll just pick up whatever I feel like at the time, and it also depends on library holds and stuff like that. But in terms of the vlogs, there will be 2 vlogs. One for the first 2 weeks, which is this one, and one for the second 2 weeks. And depending on how much I read, I might do a video at the end after the readathon is over, ranking the books, but I feel like I need to read like a kind of decent amount. Like if I get through 4 books, I feel like there's no point in ranking them. Anyway, the one kind of plan that I do have around the books is that I think I want to try and have sort of a Kindle and a physical book on the go at most times. I have 20 books on the TBR that I have access to. And somehow I managed to have 10 physical and 10 ebooks, which is kind of brilliant. I don't know how I managed that, but that's how it's worked. So in theory, this should work. We'll see if it works in practice. But let's start with the books that I want to start with. Right off the bat, I actually have 2 on my Kindle that I think I'm going to read at the same time. I had a bunch of library holds that I'd suspended, which I talked about in my TBR, and I took off the suspensions last week because they were all saying about a 3-week wait, and then they all came in that night. So I've had them for a week now, which means I think I have about 2 weeks left with them. There's 4 of them. I'm hoping I can get through them all, because I don't think I'm going to be able to reborrow them all. I think they all have outstanding holds on them. So the first one I wanted to start with is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is my book for Spain. I want to start with this one because I know it is, what have I written down? 506 pages as this Kindle edition, and I really want to get through this one this year because every year I miss out on it. So this year it's going to happen. And then also I have the book for France, which is The Seine. And this one is nonfiction, but I think it's about 380 pages. So that should be a quicker read. I read the first 2 pages to kind of see between the other ones that came in, which I thought would kind of be quick. This is definitely like literary nonfiction sort of vibes from those 2 pages. So hoping it'll be quick. Those were pretty easy to pick, but I kind of struggled to pick what my physical book should be because I want to read all of them, obviously, but I don't know, I wanted something that I felt like was different to Shadow of the Wind, so that I wasn't really reading the same things, because originally I planned to start with Trader by Amanda McCrinna, which is my book for Poland. But Shadow of the Wind is set during World War II, or at least the first section is, and so is this. And I just felt like I didn't want two World War II books back to back. Do I have any others on my TBR? Maybe one. I think this one I'm gonna wait until I finish that one. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll go The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. This is my book for Norway. This is historical, but it is 1617, so a different vibe. I know it's about the witch trials, and I don't think it's too long. 336 pages, and it's got relatively large text, so I'm hoping maybe as well that might be a quick read. Maybe this will be the thing I finish before Tuesday. I know that I'm definitely going to start these two over the weekend, and we'll just see. It'll probably be this for my physical book, but it could be anything. We'll see. But I'll be back on Tuesday. Everyone, please cross your fingers that I might manage to finish something. We'll see. So it's Tuesday. Finishing a book was a little bit ambitious, but I got very close. So I'm gonna update you on my reading so far. I haven't done, in a perfect world, I would have read like 3 books over the weekend, and I'd have like loved everything, and I'd be here super excited about everything that I've read. And obviously that hasn't happened, but I am not completely disappointed by my progress so far. So let's talk about it. On Saturday, I started the readathon with The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, which is my book for Spain. Between reading on Saturday morning and Saturday night, I actually managed to get 15% of the way through. Haven't read anything since, but I'm not mad at 15%. I'm just going to go through what I've read, and then we'll talk about plans afterwards. But I also started The Cien by Elaine, still don't know, Ciclino? No idea. This is my book for France. I read 3%. Was not a huge fan of it. I'm going to give it a little bit longer, mostly because I don't think I have anything else that I could read for France. And hopefully it's okay enough that I can finish it, even if I don't absolutely love it. But onto my physical book, and the one that I almost finished before today. I know that I had been like, I'm going to pick up The Mercies, or possibly Trader. Didn't pick up either. Came to Sunday night, and I wanted to read something in bed, and the one that I wanted to read was this one, which you cannot see the title of at all. This is How We Survived Communism and Even Laughed by Slovenka, again, still don't know how to say this last name, Draculic. This is my book for Croatia, and it's going to be the first one I finish. I'm on page 118. I've got about 70 pages to go. The writing is really quite large, so it's been a quick read, and yes, I'm hoping, well, it's my plan to get this done tonight. I think it's about 3 in the afternoon, maybe. So I'm hoping I can finish this tonight, among the other things I need to do. We'll see how that goes. Either way, if I don't finish it tonight, I'm going to finish it early tomorrow morning, so it doesn't really matter, but I'd love to finish it tonight. Ironically enough, the book that I read last year, the first book I read for the Readathon, was also for Croatia, and here we are again, I guess. Thanks, Croatia. You've been a real one. So yeah, that's my plan right now, is to finish this one. But obviously, I have other plans too. I have the next couple of days off work, but I do have other things going on. So I'm not just like, I don't have like a whole day just to sit down and read, as much as I would love that. I mean, I could do that, but then I would have to procrastinate doing basically everything else. So rather than stress myself out now with that, I will just keep making time for reading when I can. So I still want to continue with these two, but I also want to start Swanfolk by Kirsten Dottir. Again, still don't know if that's right. This is my book for Iceland. It's nice and short, and I'm kind of feeling like maybe it would be nice to finish off a couple of books at the very start of the Readathon, and then kind of have a couple of those longer ones ongoing. So this is going to be the next one that I pick up. I don't know which one I'm going to pick up next physically. I'm kind of thinking maybe The Little Girls by Elizabeth Bowen, which is my book for Ireland. I'm not sure, but I can tell you that I desperately want to pick up Beartown, which I have on my Kindle, but I want to be a little bit further through Shadow of the Wind before I do that. I did read that first 15% rather quickly, so I am hoping that maybe it will be kind of easy to get, I don't know, halfway through by the end of this week. We'll see how it goes. I just realized I haven't told you my thoughts on any of these, except for that I wasn't really enjoying the France one. Shadow of the Wind is right now giving me major The Historian vibes, which I read last year and is one of the worst things I've ever read. So I'm holding out hope. The plot hasn't really started. It's like just starting to start. So I don't even know what the plot is, but we're going somewhere with this story right now. So I'm hoping it's going to pick up, because I don't want a repeat of The Historian. So please come through on this one. I'm really enjoying this one as well. It is kind of, I think it's written in like the 90s. I don't know, when did it say it came out? Yeah, 1991. And you can definitely tell that, not just because it's talking about like living under communism, and it's, it's her personal experience and other people's experiences, other women's experiences. So it's not really that. It's more that there are some very outdated ideas, and words, some ableism, you know, just like the use of the word invalid and handicapped and things like that, which I personally do not like. But other than that, it has been a good read. Like, it's very interesting. I think it's things about living under communism that you're not going to see in a history book, because it's about women. So it's about like how they do their laundry, and like the fact that they didn't have makeup available, or they had to get it off the black market, or the sorts of food and things like that they could, that they could get, and the apartment situations and all that kind of stuff. So it's been an interesting read. But for now, I have to go and be productive. Sad face. I have to go listen to my lecture because I have class tomorrow morning. But hopefully I will get to finish this afternoon, if not into this evening. And then I'm really excited for this one now. I really hope I like it, because something about it, I just keep thinking about it. So I will be back actually on Thursday, because then I am working over the weekend again. So I will be updating Tuesday and Thursday basically probably for both vlogs. But we will see. And that is everything. I'll be back on Thursday. Okay. It's Tuesday. No, it isn't. It's Thursday. I'm back. I'm really tired. It's been a big week and it's not over yet. I have the next 2 days at work. I'm just really tired. My social battery as well is just like super, super low. Like it usually is, because I'm just not a very social person. But it's like especially low this week and I'm really tired. But I got my hair cut. It looked a lot cuter yesterday when I had it done. But this is like a full night's sleep and like 2 naps today. So it's looking a little flat and whatnot. But anyway, I've been feeling good about my reading. This is gonna be so choppy because I keep yawning. But I did finish How We Survived Communism and Even Laughed. I feel like the camera is really close. I'm just gonna move you back a little. Okay. So I finished this Tuesday night, and this was fine. This was my book for Croatia. I'm gonna put it down since it doesn't have the cover anyway. I'd say this is probably about a 3.5. Like, it was good. It was really interesting in terms of reading things. And all that I really read about that is sort of like more like the East Berlin sort of side. So it's interesting. This was talking about, well, the author is Croatian, but it's talking about sort of Yugoslavia, and she meets and talks to a bunch of women in different countries who were all also under communist rule. And it was interesting, but it wasn't, it was like the writing was just fine. Like, it wasn't anything particularly special. There were some nice kind of lines, and I think it was more informative. Well, for me, it was more informative than like, and interesting than like lyrical or anything like that. Like, it's well written, it's easy to follow, but it's not anything like beautiful or mind-blowing, which is fine. That's fine. I still enjoyed it. Like, a 3.5 is a good rating in my opinion. So there's that. And then I didn't really read anything yesterday. I read like a few pages here and there. But this morning I did start Swanfolk, which is my book for Iceland. I am 66 pages into it. It's so weird. This is one of the like weirdest things I've ever written. One of the weirdest things I've ever read. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I was a little nervous at the start because it was very literary and there didn't seem like there would be like any semblance of a plot whatsoever. And I historically do not do well with those kind of books. But I feel like we might be slightly touching on a possible plot. I'm not really sure. It's very strange. It's very strange. But I'm kind of enjoying it. I've also bookmarked an earlier page because I wanted to read a line to you that made me laugh. So this is one of the swan folk talking to the main character, who is a human. Completely unprovoked, she says, "We know how worthless you are and that you want to make amends for your worthlessness." And I was just like, damn, these swan folk do not hold back. And they really don't. Like, there's a few, like, they're intense. I mean, so are swans though, right? Like, swans are kind of intense birds. So it's kind of fun though. I don't really know what's happening, but I don't hate it. So we'll see how we go with the rest of it. And then Kindle reading. I read more of The Shadow of the Wind. I am now 28% of the way through. I'm really enjoying it. It's still giving me very much the historian vibes, but at this stage, I don't hate that. I feel like there's still kind of not really a plot. I don't really know where I am in terms of page numbers because this is one of those ebooks that just has like the location number. Like, that means literally nothing to me. But I'm hoping the plot is really going to kick in the next kind of 5 to 10% because I'm really enjoying all this build up, but like, where is it going to go? Because I feel like right now there are so many different threads of this story and I'm not sure how they're all going to intertwine. Bloody garbage truck, I swear. Every time I film, just comes around, even though it's supposed to be around at 6 a.m. and it is 3 p.m. So yeah, we're going to wait and see how all these plot lines kind of intersect. There's a lot that's sort of like started and then like hasn't been mentioned again that I feel like it is important. I don't really know. We'll see if things kind of circle back. But yeah, I am enjoying it. And then I also read a little bit more of my book for France, The Seine. Nope. We're going to return this one. I read 5%. I don't like it. It just... This would have made like a really good like essay in like a short essay collection or in like, you know, a literary magazine or something like that. So far, I don't think I've actually learned anything. Like, I know I'm only 5% in, but this is like 2 chapters. And both chapters, I feel like, just said basically the exact same thing. Like, we haven't been given like any new information. So I'm gonna return that to my library and maybe try and find something else for France. Maybe like a cute romance kind of thing. I don't know. This is not it though. So that is the reading that I've done since Tuesday. As I said, I am working the next 2 days, and then I have at least Sunday off. Don't know about next week yet. So I think my goals for this weekend, I really want to get through as much of The Shadow of the Wind as possible. I read like 12% pretty quickly. I think it was in like 25 minutes or so, maybe 30. I can't really remember, but it was pretty quick, and like it was one of those where I didn't want to stop reading, but I wanted to make myself a cup of tea. So I don't think I'll finish it by the end of Sunday, or rather by Tuesday when I talk to you next, but I'd like to be a decent way through, maybe around the 60% mark. I don't know if that's too much. I also want to chip away at Swanfolk. This isn't a super quick read, mostly because I read a bit of it. It's so weird that I need to take a break and then come back to it. But I think maybe by Tuesday I could finish this one. And then the only other thing that I want to start is Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes. This will be my book for Greece. I only have this ebook copy for one more week, which is also why I'm trying to get through Shadow of the Wind, because I have that for 9 days. So I want to give Stoneblind a go. I have not enjoyed Natalie Haynes's fiction in the past. I really liked her non-fiction. So I'm going to give this one a go, and if I don't like it, I do have another book that I could read for Greece. So I just want to give this one a shot and see. And if I don't like it, then I can move on to that one. But that's really what I'm planning. If I can get through a decent way of The Shadow of the Wind and Swanfolk, and if I like Stoneblind, I'm probably going to start Beartown. I really should start the Copenhagen trilogy, because I also only have that for 9 days, but I really want to start Beartown. So we'll see. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to pick up physically once I'm done with Swanfolk, but I don't know. We'll see. I was going to say maybe Cassandra, but if I'm reading Stoneblind, I might not do 2 Greek mythology retellings at once. We'll see what we get to. And I will be back on Tuesday to update you with what I've read. And here's hoping it is more than what I had read before this week. Okay, it is it's Wednesday the 24th, something like that. I've not had the greatest last 2 weeks. My insulin pump just keeps malfunctioning, and I'm just feeling really exhausted and sick at the moment. Like really nauseous, lots of headaches, that kind of stuff. It's not been much fun, and I'm feeling that today. I made it all the way into uni, and then my pump stopped working and I had to come back before I even made it to class. So that was fun. And honestly, I've been going to bed at like 9 o'clock every night, so I haven't done a whole lot of reading. I did finish something, so I have a total of 2 books for the Readathon so far. And I feel like this is also probably one of the most boring vlogs I've ever done. And I have a plan to make the next one more exciting. And hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better than this. Because yeah, I am just really, really tired. And I'm probably going to take a nap after this. But let's talk about some reading. I'll share the thing that I finished, share some updates on things, and then, I will start the vlog next week. So originally my plan was to do Saturday to Saturday, so it would be a full 2 weeks. And then I realised that I wouldn't be able to film. Tomorrow's Anzac Day here, which is a public holiday, so my partner won't be at work. And then I'm working Friday and going out with a friend on Saturday. So I just won't have time. So I figured I'll just end it here. I think I will actually start the next vlog like this afternoon, and set up sort of my plan for it, and then anything I read between now and whenever I do my next update will be part of that vlog. So let's talk about books. As I said, I've finished one thing since I spoke to you last, so that's 2 for the Readathon, but that one was The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz-Zafón, which was of course my book for Spain. What's this piece of hair doing? I don't know. Anyway, okay, it's sorted. Yes, was my book for Spain. Really over the last, so like from yesterday and today, I really like hunkered down to finish this because I knew my library hold was going to be up, I think in 2 days. And I really wanted to get through this in the sense that I wanted to say that I'd read it and that I had finished it, and not because I actually enjoyed it. In fact, I was bored out of my mind reading this book. I think up until the when did I update you last? I think I was around the 25% mark last time I updated you. And up until then, I'd really enjoyed it. There were a couple of things that I was like, didn't really add anything to the story there, but sure. And, you know, I was kind of confused where it was going to be going. There wasn't really, well, it didn't feel like there was a plot. I realize now that the plot had started. I just wasn't aware that that was the plot. But, and I think I still enjoyed it up until maybe the 40% mark. And then it just started to go really downhill for me. Like I said, I was bored. The writing is fine, but it's, I don't even know if I did this to myself, because the whole time the only thing I could compare it to was the historian, and I hated that one so much that this was slightly more enjoyable. Like, I didn't completely hate it, but I just feel like it had so much potential and it just didn't really go anywhere. I think had it continued on the way it had started, this easily could have been a favorite book. But I just felt like you have this whole, you know, thing, and this is not a spoiler, it is the name of the series, but there's this whole like cemetery of forgotten books, and then that barely gets like any page time at all in this book. Like, that's such a cool idea and it's so interesting, and then you kind of just don't really get anything of it. And the plot that it does follow around this author, Julian, I don't know how you say his last name, but this made up author, right? That was really interesting at the start, and then it just, like, I don't know why we were meant to care. Like, for a bit it was really interesting, and then I felt like things were just going in circles and we weren't actually really learning anything about, what had happened to this author. It was just going in circles and there were so many different threads that it just didn't connect at all. And then I am going to say a spoiler here, so I will timestamp it down below when it starts and when it ends if you're interested in reading this book and you don't want to know the spoiler. It's not going to be a very in-depth spoiler, but it's going to start in a couple of seconds. So prepare yourself. Okay, so the whole thing, this mystery around Julian the author and, all this really interesting stuff and this forbidden love and everything, and then it's just incest. The whole point of this is incest. There are so many things, so many ways this book could have gone that would have been hard-hitting and beautiful and so many ways it could have gone, and it went with incest. I just don't understand. It could have been so good. It's fine. It just, yeah. It had so much potential and then it was just gone. So I honestly just finished it because it was a 500-page book and I knew that I didn't have anything else I could read for Spain. And I just wanted to say that I'd finished it. I just wanted to know in my mind that this book had been on my TBR so many times and that I finally finished it. And I did that. So I guess I should be happy with that. And not a whole lot of other reading has happened. Some things did happen. I have read a little bit more of my book for Denmark, which is the Copenhagen trilogy. This one is also due back at the library in 2 days. I'm not going to get through this whole thing because it is going so slow in terms of the percentage going up that I just know I'm not going to get through it all. But because it is 3 books in one, what I'm instead going to do is just finish the first book, which is called Childhood, and then I'll just return it to the library and I'll consider that as one book. Because they are published individually, so it's not like I am taking one part of a book that is always published as a whole. This is just the omnibus version. So yeah, I'm 5% through. Book 1 ends around the 26% mark. And as I said, it's going really slowly with the moving of the percentage. So I'm going to try my best and see if I can maybe finish this tomorrow. I'm going to read a little bit more of it today and then hopefully manage to finish it tomorrow. I do really want to finish this. I don't know. Because it is kind of a memoir, I don't know, that at times it seems kind of fictional. I'm pretty sure it is based on her life. I think it's a memoir, autobiographical thing. I don't really know. But there's a weird, I don't know. There isn't a clear path of what is being talked about. It kind of goes in and out in different time periods of this is a thing from her childhood, and then she will she'll kind of relate it to be oh, but when I was an adult, looking back. So I'm kind of confused. I don't kind of know what the point of it is so far, other than like she is a woman growing up in Denmark and her family is quite poor. I don't know if that is the whole point of the book. We'll see. So I've done those. I haven't finished my book for Iceland, but that's going to be part of the next vlog. I do want to just mention that I also started a book for Greece. So I had Stoneblind on my TBR originally. I read a tiny bit of it, but my book for Germany is Cassandra, which is also Greek myth. And my class at uni is about Greek and Roman mythology. And honestly, trying to read Stoneblind just felt like too much. I read a few pages and I was like, nah, not right now. Maybe in the future I'll read it, but it's just not really working with the other things that are going on in my life right now. So I decided to read something else about Greek myth. This one here is Did the Greeks Believe in Their Myths by Paul Vane. This is nonfiction. This is actually one of the books we were kind of like recommended to read. So not like we had to read it, it wasn't required reading. But it was more of like if you're interested in this thing we just talked about, you should read this book. And so I got like an interlibrary loan into my uni library. And I just read the preface. Yes. This morning while I was just kind of hanging around. It's like a reasonably short read. And a whole bunch of it is, of course, notes. I'm really interested in reading it, seeing if any of this might help, because I have an exam coming up for this class. So I don't know, anything that will kind of help me wrap my head around some of the topics that we've been talking about a little bit more will be good. So I hope this is that. And I think I'll enjoy it more than Stoneblind because I feel like I'm reading so much fiction. It's nice to kind of have a non-fiction to slip in there. That's everything. As I said, not the most exciting reading vlog. I will start my new one for the rest of the readathon now, and I will see you all in that one. I'd love to hear how you're doing. I hope you've been having better luck than I have, and I will see you all soon.